Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
There's a lot of Is It Just Me's here just ripping into Dollywall.
Why?
Delaney, I'm just kidding. There's a few ripping into myself.
I got a bad
more
email
than-
today.
Pardon me?
Got a bad email today. Guy called me an idiot.
Okay. Right. It was Ryan.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it was Ryan who sent the email. You're not with me.
I figured it out.
Is It Just Me? We'll present these later on. Is It Just Me coming up later this hour on Donnie and Dolly of the team on Check. All of our guests today are brought to you by the Waddling Dog Pub, and that includes Craig Button standing by. One of Victoria's favorite local watering holes. Located 10 minutes from the ferry terminal, the Waddling Dog Pub is the place to be to catch all NHL playoff action. And what action there should be tonight. Game 1, Colorado-Edmonton with spring finally here. The Dog is excited to open their heated dog-friendly patio. Don't miss their fully stocked liquor store and 30-room boutique hotel attached. There are countless reasons to come, sit, and stay at the Waddling Dog. Rangers beat the Hurricanes 6-2. They're on to the Eastern Final against Tampa Bay. Game 1, Colorado-Edmonton in Denver tonight as we bring in TSN Scouting Director Craig Button, as we always do on a Tuesday. Craig, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I am good. I just want to let Rick know. Listen, if you want to go into on Google and get a synonym for button, it says idiot, clown, loser. So all those terms, I don't know if they're addressing me by name or anything. You just kind of go, okay.
Craig, we live in a different world. We have people have access to us like they've never had access to us before. So I got the Dollywall's an idiot. Get him off the air. He's a moron. Get him out.
Yeah. Well, the opposite of love isn't hate, Craig. It's indifference, right? So at least you're eliciting emotion, and we all feel the same way. We've all gotten the emails and texts and tweets, you name it. Rangers, Hurricanes, all about goaltending in the end, Craig?
I think ultimately that's what it came down to. You think about Antti Raanta in Game 6, just simply not good enough. And then, you certainly with the power play goals, getting the Rangers up 2-0. I think that for the Carolina Hurricanes, that was a scenario they didn't want to be in. Good team 5-on-5, penalty killing poor, and believe it or not, their power play for the last 2 months or 2.5 months has been abysmal. So, you give up the 2 power play goals, you can't make any ground up on the power play. And then your goaltending, just wasn't good enough. When you're up against a goaltender who's not going to let you in easily, and that's Shesterkin, you got to make sure you stop the ones you can. Antti Raanta did not do that in Game 6, and then the power play or penalty killing really hurt the Canes in Game 7.
Do the Rangers have a shot against Tampa Bay?
Yeah, they have a shot. I think you get this deep. You're playing well. You found a way to be able to emerge on the right side of things when your backs have been up against the wall. 5 elimination games, you're undefeated. You need to be undefeated in elimination games if you want to carry forth. But they're going to they got subpar goaltending against them in Pittsburgh through the series. They came back from that. The goaltending in this series that the Rangers faced wasn't great against the Canes. And now they're going to face a world-class goaltender and a world-class defense and a team that's been able to heal up and just get some mental and physical rest over the last 9 days. So, you know what? I'm not betting against the Tampa Bay Lightning. At the beginning of the playoffs, I had Tampa Bay and Colorado in the Stanley Cup final. I'm not wavering.
Craig, let's go to the Oilers. Avalanche, a lot of star power there. Everyone's talking about the skill, the speed. Is there anything that no one's talking about that's going to be very important in this series?
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many different storylines, Rick, that, when you start to think about is something nobody's talking about. One of the things that I think that the Edmonton Oilers really showed against the Calgary Flames, a Calgary Flames team that had played exceptionally well in the regular season, exceptionally well versus the Dallas Stars. Yeah, they needed overtime in Game 7, but they dominated that series. The Edmonton Oilers, we know what Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl did. But, with a less than 100% Darnell Nurse, the blue line really stepped up, Rick. I can't begin to tell you how impressed I was with the blue line. From Cody Ceci to Duncan Keith to Evan Bouchard to Tyson Barrie to Brett Kulak. They really were so strong in being able to, move the puck quickly, then get up on the play and support the offensive thrust of those players. The Calgary Flames, created some opportunities at different times, but in the absence is the wrong word, but without Darnell Nurse being at the top of his game, you needed everybody else to step up their game. And they absolutely did that. And I think if they can find a way to, make sure that they don't have to bear undue pressure from the speed of the Colorado Avalanche and the forwards in their own defensive zone, I think they can be another real factor in this series for the Edmonton Oilers on the plus side.
Hey, Craig, news out of Vancouver yesterday, player development-wise, the Sedin twins, Mikhail Samuelsson, Mike Komisarek, they're all going to be involved day-to-day helping out the kids after they're drafted. When you look at player development around the National Hockey League, you've been a GM. What are the keys to developing these kids in your eyes?
Well, one of the things, I'll just go back to Daniel and Henrik.
Yep.
When you finish playing, we know they're great players. They were top-notch players. When you finish playing, there's a lot of opportunities. Okay, what do you want to work in? You want to be a coach. You want to work in management. And I think players have to figure that out, where they're most comfortable and where they can make the biggest impact. So Daniel and Henrik moving into that area, I think that they feel confident and comfortable working with players. And certainly, they have a lot of experience to pass on to players. And that goes for Samuelsson and for Komisarek as well. But when you get into development, I think it's no different than any other area of development. Understanding what a player's strengths are and then trying to enhance them. Understand those developmental areas where they may be a little bit weaker and working with them. It's not cookie cutter. Every single player is different. Some player may need a little bit more of this. Some players may need a little bit more on ice. Some players may need a little bit more off ice. And then understanding how players receive information. Like a good teacher, you understand your students, you understand your pupils. And I think that for real strong development, that's what you need. But, Daniel and Henrik, you look at their careers as they move forward. You look at Samuelsson, Komisarek, they all went through a process where despite where they were, you had 3 first-round draft picks. And then Mikhail, who came along a little bit later in the draft, but played with great players, both in Detroit and Vancouver and other places too on the national team in Sweden. They've gone through paths where they've seen the development process take place, not only for themselves, but for others. And I think that can be really beneficial for them as mentors and for the players they're going to work with.
Yeah. Craig, you're in Calgary. Do you have a gut feeling on Johnny Gaudreau's future with that team?
I don't. But when I look at it this way, Donnie, he's a 115-point player. Mm-hmm. He had a tremendous season. He was in the Hart Trophy conversation, and rightfully so. So now a player like that hits the free agent market. There's going to be a tremendous amount of attention paid to him. There's going to be a tremendous amount of due diligence and talking to him. And, for Johnny, he gets to go through an experience now and hear the pitches from different teams and what they are and what they're not, including the Calgary Flames. So I think there has to be a process, really kind of carry forth here for Johnny and for the Calgary Flames. And, we saw it with Gabriel Landeskog last year, and I'm just using him as one example. He was a player, oh my God, he might hit the free agent market, and then he re-signs with the Colorado Avalanche. Sometimes through the process of free agency, you understand, well, maybe this is the best place for me, and you stay put. On the other hand, you start to go, oh, that's exciting, that's intriguing, I hadn't thought about that, and maybe that's a path that I go forward with. So, I think that has to play out before even Johnny Gaudreau can have a gut feeling about where he's at. And that's where it's at right now. But there's going to be no lack there's going to be no lack of attraction to Johnny Gaudreau from around the NHL.
Let me sneak in one more here, Craig. You are the TSN's scouting director. Finland has won 2 golds and a silver in the last 3 World Championships. Throw in an Olympic gold medal in there as well. What is Finland doing well when it comes to developing hockey players?
Well, I just talked about the development process, with Daniel and Henrik and Michael and Mikhail, right? And that's what they do. They do 2 things exceptionally well in Finland. They take players individually and they help them be the best they can be. And then they take those players and then they help them, really coalesce as a team and they play together. We can talk about the smaller population and everything that goes with it, but there's lots of small populations out there. And when you are a country like Finland with a great development model, and whether you're big and gangly at a younger age and you need some time, or you're small and speedy, they're going to work with you and they're going to help you be the best you can be. And more importantly, Donnie, they let you be who you are. It's not cookie cutter. And, whoever you are, but when it comes to playing together as a team, they all understand that they need to be connected, and they do an exceptional job of that. And, when I say this about Finland, and I'll say it about both any championship that they go into, men's or women's, you better not underestimate them, because they go in with a chance to win at every level.
Craig, one more. We talked about development. Devon Taves out of Abbotsford, 2 years Surrey Eagles, 3 years NCAA, 3 years American Hockey League, made the NHL at 24. And yet we put so much pressure on these 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. Look at Taves. Now he's such a wonderful defenseman. Just went about his own business, hit the NHL at 24. Nobody said anything, developed at his own rate.
You know what? If Devon Taves wasn't playing, Rick, I would invite him to come to the NHL Combine and talk to all the players there.
That's it.
And I would invite him to talk to all the prospects heading into their draft here. Everybody wants to get there yesterday.
That's
you know
it.
What? The truth of the matter is, it takes players, the vast majority of players, longer rather than a shorter time period.
Yeah.
And teams, you've heard me say this, you guys, teams fail players more than players fail on their own because they can't get out of their own darn way.
Yeah.
Craig, outstanding as always. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, thanks. Have a great day.